On this week's episode of the Superhero Show, we'll find out what the hell Call's Folly means on a new episode of Titans, if Jubilee and Beast can defeat Fabian Cortez and Apocalypse on X-Men the Animated Series, and if Nick from the podcast None of My Friends Like Comics can annoy Cassie more than Ryan annoys her. All of that and more on an all-new episode of the Superhero Show. What's up, nerds, and welcome to the Superhero Show, the only podcast that covers every live-action TV show based on a comic book. I am your master of chaos, Ryan, and I am talking into the mic right now because Cassie, I don't want to say what she's doing. It's rude to say that just before we started recording, the studio audience saw her, she waddled away. She had to go somewhere to do something. I don't want to say what it is. Let me just say that this isn't the first time she's done it. It's number 2. I don't want to say it's just. Let me just say it's number 2. Okay, this is the second time she's doing it. Luckily, I'm not by myself. All the way from Pittsburgh, Des Moines,
Kansas City.
Kansas City. I was thinking barbecue, and you know my favorite barbecue is Des Moines barbecue.
Oh, yeah, Des Moines barbecue, yeah.
Everyone always talks about how dry and unseasoned it is, and that's how I like it. It's Nick from None of My Friends Like Comics, None of My Friends Read Comics, which is what I think it should be called. Nick, how are you doing?
I'm well, man. I'm well. Thank you for having me back. I'm excited to be on.
Are you sure? Have you seen the agenda for tonight? We're talking about Titans. We're talking about X-Men the Animated Series.
Hey, that's exactly what we did the last time I was on the show, I think. So
is Titans really?
Yeah, we did Titans. It was the first time I'd ever seen Titans, and I think it was the season premiere of this season.
Now you could boldly stand up and say something that very few people can. I have seen previous episodes of the Titans.
Yeah, very true. At least one.
Nick, tell us something that people don't know about Kansas City. And which one are you in? Because there's 2, right?
Yeah. Well, I live on the Kansas side, but I mean they're connected basically.
Oh, okay.
I mean it's all like one kind of big thing. I mean, like, well, they're different, but they're right next to each other. Something that people don't know about Kansas City?
Yes. Are you guys rivals? Are the 2 cities on the side of the border, do you fucking hate each other?
No, the Missouri side is much bigger, so I don't think it's much of a competition, to be honest with you.
Just so the listeners at home know, I know the people in the studio audience can see, but I'm looking at Nick right now. He's got a beard, glasses, and a hat. On the other side of the border, is there a Nick that's just like you, but no hat, no glasses, no facial hair, and you guys fucking hate each other?
Yeah. It's kind of the what's the Star Trek the universe where everybody's got the mustache, like it's like the evil version and whatnot. It's basically like that.
So, but you have a mustache.
Yeah.
So you are evil, Nick.
Maybe. I mean, in my view, I'm not. But
sure.
to them, I might be. I don't know.
You don't think there's people out there, everybody says, like, people believe their own worldview. Nobody's evil. You don't think there's some people who are like, yeah, fuck that, I'm evil and I love it?
Well, there's got to be, right? I mean, like, otherwise, I mean, not everything could be nuanced, right?
Yeah, I think some people are 2-dimensionally evil.
Yeah.
Like, Magneto is a more complex villain than they are.
Yeah, I would agree. There are definitely people out there like that.
I think, in fact, can Cassie hear me right now?
I don't think so.
The person who Cassie voted for president last term, I think you could describe him that way. Please don't tell her I said that.
Notoriously our favorite president, yes. No, it's all right.
If she made a list of top 1 favorite presidents of all time, he would be on that list.
He would be on that list.
Well, we have to get to it. I didn't remember. I'm sorry. I celebrate your entire catalog as far as your appearances on Superhero Show goes, and yeah. I forgot the last time you were on here was Titans. When you got the call, we turned on the Nick signal, and in the air, you were like, oh, they need me.
They need me, yes.
And then you got the memo that said, this week we're doing Titans. Were you like, are you fucking kidding me?
No, I was like, oh, okay. I mean, cool, whatever. That totally works.
Did you think that we did it on purpose? Like, we have to go to our number one Titans expert because he's seen one episode.
He's seen one episode.
Nick.
Yeah. I'm a rarity, apparently. Yeah. I was like, okay. Yeah. I mean, like, I'll check back in with the show. I mean, like, and of course, I'm always excited to talk about X-Men. So I was like, right on. Let's do it.
Do you remember what X-Men episode you did?
Yeah, we did the Phalanx Covenant, the 2-parter.
And then we brought you back the next week
for the second part. Yeah.
It's all coming back, dude. I record like 9 podcasts a day.
Oh, dude, I completely understand.
So a lot of it's in one ear, not the other.
I have trouble keeping track of just the. I mean, I do record, I guess, more than one podcast, but the None of My Friends Like Comics is the one that I'm like responsible for everything, you know. And I still get shit mixed up for that, like by itself, you know. Everything else I kind of just show up for, and I'm like, okay, cool, like, you know, whatever.
So if I mess stuff up tonight, if I say, oh, this is Rick from the podcast, all of my friends read nun comics about nuns, then you know where I'm at. You know where I'm at.
Yeah. That's probably the Nick over on the Missouri side, yeah.
Oh, that fucker. I heard some bad shit about him. Next time I'm in your side of Kansas City, I'm going to write so much naughty shit about him on bathroom stalls. I'm just going to, and I'm not talking Sharpie. I'm talking like etched in. You know how some bathroom stall graffiti artists are pussies and they have to use a Sharpie? I etch it.
You're like, it's not coming out. It's not coming out. Yeah.
You gotta get a sandblaster or you gotta remove these walls. All right. We obviously need Cassie so bad. So we're gonna take a break and hopefully Cassie's back talking to us about Titans.
On this week's episode of Titans, Superchild is dealing with some stuff, like how his hair is supposed to look. As if that wasn't enough, the gang is driving somewhere when all of a sudden they end up in Cowles Folly, a weird-ass city with some weird-ass people. Taste buds, I ask you this. How is Titans doing at handling throwing some Gen Z kids into a place that might have some Trump flags up?
That's a really good description of Cowles Folly.
A show like Titans can't go to an actual city that would vote for Trump and be like, fuck you guys.
Yeah.
So now we're in Cowles Folly, which I don't know if you guys got this, but had a little bit of Doom Patrol vibes of like, oh, we're in a weird place now.
Yeah. I mean, I thought it was, honestly, like when they first went there, I thought it was kind of going to be more like the tropey, like, we're in another dimension where it's like the 50s or whatever, you know, type of thing or whatever. But then it was like, oh no, it's still like modern times. It's just kind of like a quaint town or whatever. So I thought that was
I don't think those are different.
Yeah, I guess. You're right.
I feel like there's a lot of quaint towns in America that still either feel like the 50s or wish it were the 50s when America was great again.
True enough.
It kept giving me a couple of vibes. Like, I thought they went back in time at first, but no, it's just a cute little town. And then I couldn't tell if they were going to do some type of Groundhog Day thing, because anytime you go somewhere and there's like a specific song that pops on, like that's normally a sign of like Groundhog Day. So I wasn't sure if we were going to keep starting things over or how this was going to go. But it was just...
What was the song again? I forget.
Yeah,
when they first get there?
Yeah.
They pull the Pina Colada song out.
Pina Colada.
Their licensed music card, like right when it hits there. Yeah.
That's where the whole budget went, was in that song right there.
I thought it was kind of, I don't know. It gave me like, like I said, when they first get there, I thought that it was kind of like a time like travel or other dimension type thing. And I instantly got like old school, like Twilight Zone vibes or something like that. Like it was just...
Which I think that's definitely what they were going for. And my question is, after just watching this one isolated episode, is Titans the show to handle not just the giving you the vibes of a Twilight Zone-esque hour, but also sort of tackling this stuff of like, no, we're old school. We like fascism here. That sort of social commentary. Is this what we go to Titans for?
I think that the characters are very well suited for things like that. I mean, like, typically speaking, like, you know, with this team and these characters, like the weird kind of like Twilight Zone-y stuff could be credited more to like Raven plots and things like that. But like, I think too, just because they've always been such a progressive and diverse group. Like, I mean, yeah, they're more than equipped to tell stories in that kind of avenue, I think.
And they're not doing the thing where it's like cramming it in your face. Like, it is surprisingly somewhat subtle for shows that we watch. Like, it is just like, again, it's giving you the hints of these things and letting you make your decisions about it.
Here's something subtle that I loved. If you're two boys, I think this happened in Call's Folly. Maybe it happened somewhere else. But if you're two boys and you're in love and you're going to stay at a hotel with adjoining rooms, but you want to be together, that door to the adjoining rooms is going to have 7 locks that you have to get through. More locks than any front door in history this adjoining hotel door has. And they both have to unlock them all in order to kiss.
I got to say, like, as a guy, like, not like super invested in like this show, I was that whole encounter towards the end with Tim and what's the other guy's name? Bernard? Is it?
I hope
Yeah,
so.
I think it's Bernard.
Yeah. Like their whole thing, like when they finally like kind of get together at the end, I was like, man, I'm happy for them. Like I was really stoked too, because like that whole scene like beforehand where they're like, oh, we should just be friends. I was like, oh, poor Tim. It's like,
Yeah, as soon as like this was the plot that I cared about the most, and it made the least amount of sense. Like, as soon as like Tim pulled up out of nowhere in his like little electric car, I was like, this is a stretch. But as soon as I saw there was like this love connection thing, I was like, I'll allow it, Titans. Absolutely, do what you want to do.
Tim in his little car that is powered by the sense of self-satisfaction. That's how he gasses up the car. And then just like the line of like, let's forgo clever, like cutesy writing. Let's just be like, I don't want to go to sleep. Yeah, let's kiss then.
Yeah.
Let's fucking kiss.
Yeah, I
They
feel like
nailed that.
I feel like the acting too, like in regards to those two and like those short sequences we get with them is probably like the strongest acting in the entire episode. Like, I mean, like it's very believable. And like, I mean, and like I said, I mean, even as a person like not too invested in this show or these characters or this interpretation of the characters, I was like rooting for them, like being like, oh yeah, like I want to see them be together,
Oh, definitely. I would say it was the best acting next to, or in second place to Crypto. Let's not forget the performance that Crypto put out there, you guys.
He's
so
good. He's a good dog, yeah.
He's a good dog. He did not lose his mark. He stared at that treat the whole time. So proud of him. So cute, too.
This bit of the show has been brought to you by Crypto. Please buy Crypto. Crypto.com. That's what we support. There's one. Oh, go ahead, Cassie.
I was just going to talk about, like, when we're in and out from this show. I don't know about you, Nick. You said you don't follow it too much, right?
No. I was telling Ryan beforehand that the first time I ever watched this show, the only other time I watched it was when I was on this show last with you guys.
Perfect. I'm glad we always call you in for Titans.
Yeah.
That's a gift that we give you. Again, you're welcome. But the whole like intro, like the recap thing of like some fully satanic stuff happening, a dude bathing in blood and stuff, and like all that, I was like, they are throwing a lot at me here, and I didn't know this is where Titans went.
And I didn't know that I could just ignore it.
Yeah,
for at least
it didn't
this
matter.
particular hour. I don't give a shit about any of this. Don't show me then.
Yeah.
If you're going to bathe in Manhattan clam chowder, because New England is like the white creamy one, right? Manhattan clam chowder, I just don't care. And then also TV shows, television shows, I need you to sit down and I need you to listen to me. When you are a lower budget show that spent all of your money on 2 songs, Pina Colada and the one that we're going to get to later, don't have one of the characters mention the fact that this looks like a B-movie Batcave. We're already thinking that.
Yeah.
Don't say it out loud.
Yeah. And I already don't really like Connor in this episode, so I was like, shut up, Connor.
It would honestly be concerning if somebody was like, you know what, Connor's my favorite character. I would be like,
At this point, yeah. Like, I'd be like, I remember the last time we watched it was the season premiere, and it's like, oh, you kind of feel for him, it's like he's trying to figure stuff out, and then it was just like, now it's just like, God, shut up, Connor. Jesus Christ.
Homeboy waited for a fucking sale at Hot Topic to buy his Superman costume and then said, oh, I think that I'm like separating from my progressive Gen Z pack better shave my head. I mean, like,
Yeah.
I know it's a Lex Luthor thing, but shaving your head has other connotations, Connor.
He'd fit in Call's Valley very well.
Yes, dude. Calls Valley would love this guy.
Yeah. I will say, like, one thing that it was a little thing, but before they get to Call's Valley and they're in the the van and whatnot, I really enjoyed like them trying to like figure out like what's going on, and like Tim and Dick have like that little back and forth, like where they're actually like kind of being detectives, and Tim is actually like kind of more on the ball and like gets like, he's the one who like puts together, he's like, oh, it could be a cipher and all this stuff, and I was like, oh, it's cool seeing Tim like be like an actual detective and stuff. That's awesome.
I love how talking about the show you have to use the word kind of a lot.
Kind
Just like,
of.
and then
It's kind of
it's kind of romantic, and then they were kind of detectives.
Yeah.
That scene was insane, and I realize they have to do it for time, but this code to find like where this horn was located in Cal's Folly is insane. There's like a 3-step process, and out of nowhere homie's like, hey, what if these 3-step processes are actually a code and each letter means something else? And I was like, what the fuck? And then they solve it in a hot 30 seconds. Like, it's insane.
I guess if you're I could say that there's a lot of like convenient plot stuff like to move things along in this episode, but at the same time there was some of the stuff that I actually kind of liked, like how they connected it. I mean, like the whole I didn't see this coming, just being a fan of like the continuity from the books and whatnot, but like the fact that they're tying in like Starfire and like her Tamaranian stuff with the Trigun stuff, and it's like, oh, they're actually like they're working it all together and to make something like kind of new, but like it makes sense so they can have all this stuff in the show. And I'm like, that kind of works for me. I mean, it's interesting to see.
Again, kind of.
Yeah. She said kind of. Were the Triguns, was that the group that got in trouble last year because there was a wife gun, but then he cheated on his wife, and so then the Triguns were no more?
But he was known for being the wife gun, and
he was the wife gun.
What?
Yeah.
That's insane.
One more interesting thing, Cassie, if I could get there real quick, is in the Connor scene when he's talking about somebody who's like kind of his handler / manager / something. She brings up this thing that I think is really interesting, and she's like, "You're Superman, bro. Why do you need a team?" And they, maybe they'll deal with this more throughout the rest of this final season. But I do think that it's interesting in that, like, what she's saying is you only need a team to, like, help you fill in your minuses or your deficiencies, of which you have none. Mm-hmm. She doesn't get why the other reason for a team is. And if you compare this Superman, if you compare Connor to Clark from another one of our shows, from Superman and Lois, who would clearly know why you need a team. He's not, he knows that if he wanted to get himself pregnant and have twins, he could. He's Superman. But he understands that having a team is much more important than that. And through just her asking him why, the rest of the show answers that question without Connor. And for this show, I thought that was pretty interesting. Kind of.
I agree.
Kind of.
I kind of agree. Yeah, no, it's all right.
Was the whole, so this ends on a big cliffhanger because they did release two episodes. We're reviewing only the first one.
And it was so hard, guys, to not watch that second one.
That's what I want to ask. Did you want to click and figure out what's going to happen to this gang?
I wanted to, Cassie, desperately, but one, I'm a professional, and we're going to review the second or the next episode of Titans on the next week. But two, of course I wanted to click because they played my song, Whoa, Dreamweaver. The other half of the budget, half went to Pina Colada and half went to the song Dreamweaver, while Nightwing kicks the fuck out of local sheriffs and security guards and deputies.
I gotta admit, I thought that they were gonna do a parallel thing because like that cop and Dick were pretty friendly beforehand, and I thought we were gonna see them hook up as Tim and Bernard hooked up, So.
Absolutely, they were 100% giving those vibes. I was like, we were about to get a weird porno about to happen with this cop, and I was like,
it's like you should not meet that cop after dark, Dick. Like,
he was like, yeah, I'm off at 5, and I would love to get a drink. I was like, he's clearly getting his dick sucked. Absolutely. But
just
no,
watching that cop have sex, just screaming out, "Of course, women deserve to make less than men. They do less." There's differences in races. Of course, I see color. But no, like I think that we got eventually, Dick did get trampled by this group, and I did kind of want to be like, how are they going to get out of this? I wish there was some sort of narrator who at the end would be like, uh-oh, Dick's in trouble. How are they going to get out of this one?
And again, it just takes it back to, I think where we fell with the show last time is it's so close to being something that would suck you in and be good, and it has those moments, and you're just like, you want to give it, and then it just wrecks it on other times. And it's just, it's so sad to see like so much potential, yet not be able to be on board with a show fully.
I will say, though, that I think the big difference with this one, besides the fact that we have kind of brought up like 8 or 9 things that we sort of kind of liked, is that it felt like 15 minutes shorter, and it felt like it motored. It felt like that maybe there was a bunch of useless staring out the window trying to create characterization that was just cut from the show so we could fucking move. Let's go.
Yeah,
Right.
I thought the exposition-y stuff too, like there was some heavy-handed stuff in this one as well. But the character stuff is good. It's just that all the stuff around it is kind of like that's what makes it so kind of.
Always the kind of.
Cassie, honestly, let's be real. Do you know what made this episode look good?
What?
It's Gotham Knights. It's like, oh, this is
True
not
that.
Gotham Knights.
that.
And then it just looks like Citizen Kane in comparison.
If there's any thought put into it, we're like, wow, what a great show.
They're saying words.
I did read, and this is, Nick, you probably don't give a shit, but this is much to me and Cassie's chagrin, that Gotham Knights is a huge hit on HBO Max, now called Max, and is probably going to get picked up for 2, 3, 4, 7 more seasons.
Oh, great.
Like, it is.
Me? Is that a
It
joke?
goes Succession, Barry, or like last week tonight, Gotham Knights. Like, it is one of the
How?
biggest shows on there.
How? How is that possible?
I don't know.
God, that's devastating to hear. That's about all the time we have to talk about Titans, though. But we have a newer Nick. I don't know if you know. Now we do moments of the week for the main segment, and it's okay if you don't have one. But I am going to go to Ryan. Ryan, what's your moment of the week?
My moment of the week, I think I've talked about this on the show before, the way that I look and the way that some dudes treat me. But when I watched the sheriff and Dick talking, I don't think there was a love connection. I don't think this was like Tim and Bernard. I think that this was something different. Based on the way that I look, a lot of people like the sheriff from the show will come up to me and be like, fucking Mexicans, huh? Don't they suck? And I'm like, what the hell did you just say? I think based on how Tim looks, or not Tim, Dick looks, the sheriff was like, oh, I bet this guy's racist. I bet this guy is down with my program. That's what I thought. It's a terrible life. I should probably grow hair and not have a shaved head, but I love the look.
What are you gonna do?
Yeah.
My moment of the week is just every moment of Bernard and them, their whole little love relationship, so beautiful, and then just little puppy Crypto being on the scene. Loved him so much. Nick, do you happen to have a moment of the week or no?
Mine would be the same. It's Tim and Bernard. Those scenes are definitely the highlight of this one.
Yeah. All right, so that is all the time we have to talk about Titans, but I did leave some time to talk about a website because, Ryan, I know you've had a big website idea brewing in your head, and I just want to give you this time to share it right now.
Oh, boy, Cassie. I have a website where you can, I have this, template for a shirt, and you can write anything you want on the shirt, and we will mail it to you. As long as afterwards, and I don't know, we don't really advertise this, but after it, we go, comma, sluts, and then exclamation mark on the front of the shirt. Mm-hmm. So if you're like, I'm a big Superman fan, I want not the big S, just the word Superman, then we will send it to you and it'll say Superman sluts, and then you get that shirt.
That's very fun. I do appreciate that. I think it's going to be a big hit. I like that there'll be no explanation, but I don't think it needs one.
No, I mean, on sluts!.com, we don't explain anything. We just send you the shirts that you need. You thought that you didn't need them because you had never thought of them, but that's why we thought of them, and now we're sending them to you.
It's a perfect website, Ryan, and such a perfect website needs my friend cybersprout.net to help build it. It's because they offer premium hosting that's specifically built for WordPress. They handle security maintenance, backup, speed optimization. They'll even migrate your website for free. They focus on collaboration because they appreciate that. It's easy to manage. Sluts. That's cybersprout.net, your partner for a digital world, sluts. That's it. Coming up next, it's the pull list. We are back for the pull list where we talk about all the other shows we watched this week. First show starting it off is Gotham Knights. On the 5th episode of Gotham Knights, the group is celebrating Tax Day by trying to get the mob's physical tax returns so they can prove that the mob have been helping the owls. Meanwhile, Harvey Dent visits a psychiatrist to talk about his abusive childhood and try to figure out why he has missing memories. And Stephanie is trying to keep her drunk mom from embarrassing her at the teacher's conference. Taste Buds, I ask you, have you ever had an embarrassing teacher's conference?
I accidentally hugged my teacher and I called her mom. And it turned out my mom was on the other side of the room and I had hugged my teacher.
That is my condolences. There's no recovering from that. But if it was at the conference, it was just you guys, no kids around?
This is my senior year of high school, and no, there was all of the kids saw it.
Great. I love that for you, Ryan.
It was terrible. It was awful to me. And this is what you love for me, is for awful things to happen?
It made you stronger, and I think it's made you the person you are today. It's probably why you're podcasting, actually.
God damn it, I am strong.
Gotham Knights is Tuesdays on the CW. Our next show is Riverdale.
In this week's episode of Riverdale, a lesson in sex education leaves the gang more confused than ever. So Veronica decides to organize Let me just clarify. They start sex education in high school, and they're like, what? What does this mean? I'm so confused. So Veronica says, the only way to learn about sex is to fucking have sex. So she throws a makeout party at the Pembroke. Elsewhere, Jughead attempts to help Ethel out of some trouble, only to find himself in hot water as well. Taste Buds, I ask you this. Because of their affliction, is Archie and Cheryl the unholiest couple possible?
Some could argue most holy, because Cheryl, praise be to her. But, no, I think...
Cassie, they're both gingers.
They are both gingers, but it's Cheryl, Ryan.
I know. It is Cheryl. Here's a quiz. Somebody is trying to get Cheryl or Archie to fuck Cheryl. Okay? And so they say, this is a quiz. You guys tell me who said this. You take Cheryl out, you're made in the shade, Daddy-o. Which character said that?
Jughead?
Not Jughead.
What is... I'm answering it like it's Jeopardy here. I blinked on every single person's name.
I'll give you the answer.
Is it Moose?
It's not Moose. It's Jason Blossom, her brother.
Ah.
Yeah.
Of course it is.
Wait, hang on. I'm so sorry. I'm so behind on this show. But like, I've watched like random episodes and I really want to get into it because it just seems so batshit insane. But didn't he die or something?
Oh, Nick, young naive Nick.
Oh, sweet Nick. Oh,
sweet.
I feel
Nick.
so fun. I feel like such a, I'm not wet behind the ears on Riverdale, unfortunately, yet. I'm just like
a comet. I don't want to spoil anything for you, but a comet was about to hit Riverdale, and Cheryl,
a comet, like from space,
from space, was about to land entirely on Riverdale. Cheryl, who is a full-blown witch, tried to keep the comet from hitting her, but the comet did hit, and all of them were transported back into good old 1955 when the original comics took place, and that is where our final season leaves us. So that's why Julian...
that sounds so fucking great.
It's not Jason Blossom anymore, it's Julian. That's why he says, you take Cheryl out, you're made in the shade, Daddy-o.
God. It's a gift. It is, I can tell you from experience, it's better to hear about Riverdale than physically experience Riverdale. It's the ideal way.
There's like half the cast or half the characters are gay, but you can't be gay in 1955, so they're all forcing themselves to try to hook up with people they don't want to. That's a lot of the plot. At one point, Betty, who is going out with Kevin, and Archie, who's going out with Cheryl and Kevin are both gay. So Betty and Archie are hard up. and Betty, they're sitting on Betty's bed, and Betty touches Archie's shoulder, and he fills his pants with cum. Touch on the shoulder, fills his pants, and Archie has to run out of the room, Forrest Gump wearing a towel style when he sits on Jenny's bed. That'll happen. Also, there's a dream where all characters on the show have the exact same dream, where they're all in like a jungle, a stage set jungle, and they're all hooking up with each other. And I say, this is the final season of Riverdale. This is how all shows should end. Have a dream sequence where you finally get to see every character make out with every other character. The last season of Frasier should have had every character making out with every character. Frasier and his dad, Roz and Eddie, the dog. I don't give a shit. This is how things should work.
Ryan, you should be talking to somebody about this, but we'll let that go. Do you got a moment of the week?
Of course I do, Cassie. I have a couple. Veronica is making a full court press for Archie, and Archie says, and I quote, "I'm sorry, Ronnie, you're just too much of a handful." And I think that's, anytime that you're talking to anybody, just tell them that, and it's great. The other one is the cops are talking to Jughead, and they say, there's somebody on the scene of the crime that fits your description, and Jughead's like, what was the description? And the sheriff in full straight face says, I was a teenager wearing a crown. And that, you're fucked, Jughead, because there's only one person that fits that description. A teenager wearing it. You're the only one in history, bro. A teenager wearing a crown.
Riverdale is beautiful. It's Wednesdays on the CW if you want to watch it. Our final show of the week is Superman and Lois. On Season 3, Episode 5 of Superman and Lois, Mannheim confronts Lois while she is trying to dig up dirt, and instead of being mad, takes her on a tour of the facility and shares his documents with her. Meanwhile, it's Valentine's Day, and the kids are dealing with some classic dance teen drama. Taste buds, I ask you / tell you, Kyle was a chaperone for this dance, and can you think of anyone worse besides fucking Kyle to be a chaperone at a high school dance?
Kyle is the kind of guy who this last week filmed a video of himself driving over Bud Lights or shooting Bud Lights with a machine gun. So no, Cassie, I cannot.
I just had to I was like, no, they couldn't. They know they can't put Kyle there, right? And I checked my sources. I cited it. Kyle was at that dance. He was absolutely fucking it up there. Superman and Lois is Tuesdays on the CW. That is it for the pull list. Coming up next is X-Taz. Welcome to X-Tasmania, bitch, a mini show within a show where we take an in-depth, episode-by-episode look at Fox's seminal and underrated early morning soap opera from the mid-90s, X-Men the Animated Series. This week we watched The Fifth Horseman, and when we start off, there is just a kid running away from this group of, well-dressed villains, I guess?
Cassie, well-dressed, this is a costume that you would like to own in your future?
Absolutely. I immediately went online and was trying to figure out how I could get my hands on this. Half, it looked pleather. Definitely not full leather quality, but little
vegan.
studs.
We're vegan here.
Yes, we respect the animals. But there was little studs, not full spikies because that's too much, just little stud things. And I was into this vibe 100%.
Yeah, the hound outfits are pretty cool.
That's so much a part of being one of these villains is what will my henchmen look like? I need to figure out how they're going to dress. It's
so important. And this whole scene, what surprised me was the amount of time we spent on these guys almost getting this kid. The one henchman, the main hound guy, walking up to this kid, we spent so much time on him just walking up towards him. I was like, we are stretching this, huh?
We don't have 22 minutes.
They were really working on it. But
this is when we meet the three, not the big bads, but three of the bads who seem to, I thought at the beginning, could come up with whatever weapon they wanted, almost like a Green Lantern ring. Yeah. And this one dumb idiot says, form of boomerang, and that's what you picked, is you're going to throw a green boomerang at this kid?
Yeah, she can only do psychic boomerangs, it looks like. And she also, I don't think, ever makes contact with anything in the whole episode.
Nobody
Not
with a
once.
boomerang ever has.
They straight up, it seems like you can make whatever. And what they do make is a rope and a boomerang is what these guys got. And I love them so much for it.
Do you guys remember the third one, Caliban?
Yeah.
do you remember for him from this universe, which is I think 21932?
Yeah. He's one of the Morlocks.
He's one of the Morlocks, which I don't think is comic book, the same as in the comic books. And also, the reason why he recognizes Jubilee later is because they rescue them from some slavery thing, right? Oh, was it Master Mold?
That sounds right. Yeah.
I think they're part of the mutants on Master Mold's camp, and that's why he's like, Jubilee, oh, hello.
Yeah, I fully did not know how they knew each other, but just, accepted X-Taz for what it is. And I was like, yeah they go back. They're best buds, absolutely.
I mean, except X-Taz, you could look this up online, and then on the notes for this episode, it could just say, Jubilee and Caliban had never met before. And you'd be like, yeah, of course. Let's do this, baby.
Absolutely. But we then we cut to like an ancient, pyramid thing, and we see why they are trying to get a kid, and that's because Apocalypse is able, on this night only, to be brought back to life. All he needs is a vessel, of course, because that's how Apocalypse do. We always got to do this.
Cassie and Nick, I would like to present something to you. And of course, we need Caitlin and Mike's thumbs up. But there is a worse comic book, or there's a worse cartoon villain than Onslaught. And it's Fabian Cortez. This guy fucking... is he like in some sort of pre-post pubescent? Like, can you hear his voice go like, oh, Fabian Cortez?
His voice, though, like, for that character is perfect. He's like skeevy and just...
Sniveling.
You're like, he's one of those dudes that, like, even if he's like super ripped and like taller than you, you're like, I could beat the shit out of this guy. Like, it's like, it's just like, fuck you, Fabian Cortez, you suck. Like, he's always just like, he's always that perpetual follower too. And like, he's like Starscream turned up to like 11.
And like, you know what, Starscream, we didn't need you turned up any louder.
Yeah.
Because he used to be a Magneto acolyte, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep. And he mentions in this episode how he's like, I know I was skipping ahead here, but when he sees Beast and Jubilee, they capture him, and he's like, I bet you're wondering how I survived Asteroid M, and I just wanted them so bad to be like, we don't fucking care. Like, we don't. I literally did. I forgot you were even there. Like,
Fabian looks into the sky as if a flashback is coming, and Beast and Jubilee are like, no, don't do the flashback. We don't give a shit. We do not give a shit.
But I don't want to waste one of our 22 minutes on this.
You know what? We're going to cut that flashback, and we're going to have them trap this kid on the cliff for 7 minutes straight.
You did bring him up, though. This is when we see, we get Jubilee and Beast, everyone's favorites here, because they are out digging up, I don't know, random shit in the dirt. They're archaeologists for this episode for some reason.
I love Jubilee's archaeology look, too. It's great.
It's so strong. And they want you to know that they are bonding, and they do that by Jubilee gives Beast a mug that says world's greatest teacher. Perfect.
Yeah, that's how you do it. Also, Jubilee says, oh, Beast, to Beast, by the way, who looks like a blue fucking mutant. I can't believe how awesome and nice the store owner was. And now we're in this era where, like, Jubilee's got her hair all mulleted and she's wearing clothes. And yeah, I wonder why he was so nice to you, Jubilee. Like, he was going to be mean to Beast no matter what, but why was the store owner so nice to me? Shut up, Jubilee.
It's new to her, okay?
Yeah.
Probably because of your booblies.
Nailed it. Crushed it, Ryan. But they are, for some reason, Jubilee is driving the car, which is inexplicable. I don't know why that's happening, but...
Do you know why? Beast is worried, and we got this from a previous episode, that if they crash, Wolverine's going to come and smell that front seat, and he doesn't want him to smell Beast.
Yeah.
As Wolverine does. But they end up in an area that the map didn't map out properly. They're at the edge of a cliff.
It's called Call's Folly.
Call's Folly. It appears out of nowhere. So they got to go by foot across a bridge, and of course that leads to Apocalypse.
Yeah, and Cassie, I was shocked to see a rickety bridge in the background, and then at some point they're going across the bridge, Jubilee is, and then half of it gets cut off, and so it swings down. This must be the first rickety bridge in entertainment history where this has happened.
It's the one that started it all. But as soon as they cross this bridge, that's where... Is it Callum? I forgot his name.
Caliban.
Caliban.
Which
gets
rhymes with Taliban. Think about it.
Think about it. What are they saying? No. Caliban just gets this feeling, and he knows that there is another mutant there, a powerful young mutant who can be a vessel, so they must go get him. And that's when we find out that once he sees it's Jubilee and they have this whole past, of course they do, and he doesn't want to take Jubilee, but he must.
Yeah.
Was this about the time where you guys were like, wait a second, is this episode seriously only going to have Beast and Jubilee? Are you fucking kidding me right now?
Fabian, Jubilee, and Beast. I was like, they went for it.
Wow.
They do the best with what they got, I think. I mean, like, I don't know. They're
not actors on call. You could have written into the script more interesting X-Men.
True enough, yeah. I do love the stereotypical Beast moment in here where Jubilee, like, they're analyzing, like, you know, because they're talking about how, like, oh, it's weird how all these statues and shit are from, like, different eras or whatever. And Beast says something about, like, this certain statue being Mayan. And she's like... First of all, she instantly goes to a very like insensitive place where she's like, "Didn't they used to do human sacrifice?"
Yeah,
and then Beast proceeds to not answer her question and just tell her that they invented the calendar. And it was like, "What the fuck is happening?"
Some world's greatest teacher he is.
Like they just talk. These two characters just like talk at each other without listening to each other like at all. It seems like
It's truly insane to listen to. And then while he's reading that rock, you know, he gives this whole lecture and he's like, oh, wait, I said something wrong. It actually says it's the Tomb of Apocalypse. And I was like, how'd you fuck that up?
Yeah.
How was that like two translations, essentially?
Those are very different things. Yes. Like it's...
Also, there's nothing more fucking entertaining than watching Beast, yes, actually Beast. just douchebag on top of douchebag. Thank you for that.
But it's around this moment where we get how you talked about the bridge. Of course, Jubilee goes down. Caliban saves her. And then once they go back to the temple, that's when Cortez, we get his whole flashback about how he was saved essentially by Apocalypse. And he was, his purpose was to make hounds for him, I guess. And that's his whole existence.
Yeah.
Because what is, like, Apocalypse has horsemen.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, that's his whole thing. So hounds are, like, lower form ogre-like horsemen.
Yeah, well, the strange thing is like, this is just me pulling the continuity from the books in my head, but like the hounds.
Say it with confidence. We will believe you.
Well, the hounds are actually like the reason that costume too is so popular is because it comes from Rachel Summers. That was one of her outfits in the books and whatnot.
Yeah, and like she's got like the collar on, and
and the hounds are typically they do the bidding of a character named Ahab, who is like from Rachel Summers' dimension. It's kind of like, you know, a future, but it's just like it's really just like an alternate dimension or whatever. And they are like, you know, brainwashed to be, you know, subservient dogs, like, but with mutant powers, like, you know, who like go after things. So I guess like, I don't know if they just like mixed it up, because that was one thing that I thought was strange was this episode's called The Fifth Horseman, but there's not even really any mention of the horseman.
Oh, terrible title. Terrible title.
And like, and these guys are clearly just hounds because they're just like used for hunting things. They're not like, you know, death or famine or anything like that. Like, it's like, so it's, it's kind of strange, but like, I don't know. Like, I can't remember like the continuity of like, you know, the animated series at this point, but like, had the hounds been a thing at all that you guys remember?
I don't remember them, Cassie.
No,
do you?
absolutely not.
That's such a strange pull then, but I mean, I guess it
honestly,
kind of makes sense.
They use that word with such confidence. It's like, I should probably know what this is. Same with the Caliban Jubilee relationship. In the comic books, did Ahab turn out to be Wolverine at some point?
Probably. Everyone's turned out to be Wolverine at some point or whatever. Like, I mean, I was just talking about the other day how like in the Ultimate Universe, there's like I think it's a Robert Kirkman written like arc where it's like they introduced Cable in the Ultimate Universe, and it's like, oh no, he's just a future version of Wolverine.
I don't know,
like, what? I don't know. Like, whatever.
And Nick, if I remember correctly, was Ahab eventually arrested and then beaten to death by Acab?
Could have been.
Yeah, I think eventually, like, he was thrown into the car so hard that he died.
That's true.
By Acab.
That's canon. Yeah.
100% canon.
Yes.
It's sometime during this that the ceremony starts to begin, and like Cortez turns Beast into a hound, which just makes him beefier, essentially, just a bigger, hairier, beefy boy.
Dude,
Cassie Rohelia Jones.
Uh-huh.
If I may use your full name.
I mean, I don't love it, but go for it. It's out there.
I have to ask, how does Hound Beast compare to Trollverine? Because to me, they are the exact same. One's blue, one's green.
Fuck off. Fuck off, Ryan.
my note about Beast changing in this is the fact that his design is the same fucking design, just a blue version as Feral Wolverine from the 90s. Like, it's like after he gets the adamantium pulled out of him and shit, and he, for some reason, doesn't have a nose, and he's just like an asshole running around in the woods for a while.
Which is amazing. Patreon listeners already know our X-Men ranking. If you subscribe to Patreon, you already know that. I kind of want to move Beast above Wolverine because all they did was like, let's take everything interesting from Beast. Oh, he's Wolverine.
Yeah, he's literally Wolverine. Yeah. I thought that was very interesting. And
even his hair.
His hair. Like, I was like, dude, he's literally Feral Wolverine. Like, that's all he is. It's such a weird transformation.
It's almost like they knew how to draw one thing to show that you get beefier, and they're like, well, this is what we got. Here he is.
It's like they told him, like, they're like, the artists, they're just like, make a, you guys got free reign. Just make a cool design, and they just accidentally drew Wolverine again.
You guys find other cells that we've already drawn, and you trace over them, and that's how we tell our story. Yeah. But Cassie, explain to me how Trollverine is more handsome than Hound Beast.
The Trollverine is a whole different entity. There was whimsy, there was inspiration brought into that. Fucking this Beast. Buff ass Beast just has like spikier shoulders and shit, and just grunts, like, and his eyes dead cold, unlike Trollverine's. It's absolutely completely different.
Also, no septum piercing.
No
for Hound Beast.
They don't compare, but he goes full beast mode and just kind of goes off on a rage. He ends back up at the car. And the thing that brings him back to his humanity is finding a photo of the X-Men and, of course, Jubilee and the mug.
His mug. Guys, if you are around somebody who is prone to rage, always have a world's greatest teacher mug around them and just show them that.
You're my greatest teacher. So that moment, he knows he has to go back and save Jubilee because things
Wait, Cassie, hold on. Give him a shot of that mug before they get a mug shot.
I'm so glad we went back for that, Ryan. It was 100% worth it.
You kept talking, and we almost let that thought pass.
I know, that would have been devastating.
Imagine?
I was going to say, too, about like this whole thing. I almost feel like the creators of the show, writers, artists, whoever, like, were starting to feel like how you guys feel about Beast, where they were just fucking sick of him, even though they kept using him. Because,
I don't want to use a thesaurus anymore when I write these scripts.
Yeah, like, or almost just like they're just like taking the piss out of him because, like, when they first get attacked by the hounds, like when they're captured, like, did you guys notice, like, Jubilee, like, straight up, like, instantaneously takes one out. Like, she just bodies one of them, like, without a thought. And then he's like, run, Jubilee. And then he doesn't hit a single one and just gets fucked up.
Like, I'm so glad you brought this up because I did forget that. He gets fucking wrecked by these people. Like,
he doesn't even get a hit. Like, it's like he tries to climb a tree and can't. And then they fucking get him. And it's like,
all right. Well, first I'll climb this tree. Oh, fuck.
Yeah. I was like, why would you tell Jubilee to run? She literally took one out instantaneously.
It's that thing. It's that thing when somebody breaks a glass and you're like, oh, nobody touch anything. Yeah, we know. Wow, you touch everything and cut yourself to shreds.
Yeah.
Bleeding all
Exactly.
The first person in on a glass dropping is like, hey, everybody be careful. And then, their blood is everywhere.
Yeah.
Oh, man. God, I love this show. But we are at the ceremony, and Jubilee is, like, set to be the vessel. And Caliban is starting to feel bad. So he's like, please let me take the place of this. And Cortez does not respond kindly to this. Takes away his power. And then that's when we see Apocalypse is like in the sky. He's ready to come back as he
Hey,
fucking
I'm
always
here.
does.
Yeah.
Hello, it's Apocalypse, and I'm here.
But Beast
Cassie,
has-
do you remember when those episodes where we talked about how Rogue was drawn? You know, those episodes.
yes.
Did you feel like Jubilee aged into that in this episode? How she was drawn?
this whole season when she was the not to keep mentioning our previous episode with Trollverine, but when she was Elf Jubilee, they made her like snatched, and I was
Slamming?
like,
Yeah.
they are this final season. They are really drawing her. They were like, she's an adult now, and I'm like,
Yeah.
all right.
They take any opportunity to put her in a sacrificial Mayan outfit or whatever.
Yeah.
After,
sure
of course, I looked up Jubilee net worth and Jubilee feet. I looked up Jubilee age, and it's fine, guys. It's totally fine.
Cortez has a sexy Mayan sacrificial outfit on too at the end there.
To be fair, that is equality. They are both dressed like
If anything,
that.
he's wearing less.
It
That's true.
seemed very much so.
He straight up says, "What's yours is Mayan," and so that they have the same outfit.
In the Beast has perfect timing though, because this is when he is able to break up this ceremony. He starts wrecking things. Caliban's able to free Jubilee, and they just kind of like escape, I guess,
Yeah.
in the midst
Sometimes
of all
these
this.
episodes just sort of end. Like,
Yeah.
oh, our artists are out of time. Please
Like-
stay on hold.
Jubilee convinces Caliban to leave with them, and you're like, great, there's a happy ending there. We cut back to Apocalypse, where we're like, well, this is the end for it. Surely he doesn't have a vessel, except, of course, Cortez is still there, and he can use Cortez as his vessel. And Apocalypse is back. He's
Yeah.
back on Earth.
Cortez is like, well, I don't know, boss. What should we do? And Apocalypse is like, I have an idea. And it just takes over his fucking body. Cassie, not to keep bringing up the Trollverine episode, but do you think every episode of the show would be better if it just featured Jubilee limbs flailing, running off, and somersaulting into the sunset like the last one did?
Yeah, this should be the wrap up of every single episode. No reason, cut to that. Small circle in, the end.
Scott is like to Bishop, is like, well, we just finished the Dark Phoenix saga. And Bishop's like, yeah, but look out the window. It's just Jubilee going,
She's like
I know-
she's the Porky Pig of the episodes. Yeah. It's like
Listen, they're making the new one. I don't think it's too late for us to come in and pitch this to
Oh.
be the end for each of their episodes.
Have you guys seen that Key and Peele Gremlins 2 sketch?
No.
Just say yes. And watch it later. That's where we're going to come in, and we're just going to say stuff like this, and the show's going to be amazing.
We're here for that. That is the end of our episode, though, so that means we now have to go to our awards. The first one we start with is Most 90s Thing. Ryan, what do you got for it?
I think this is 90s. I hope it is. It's when Jubilee's like, well, don't talk to Wolverine until he's had his coffee. And I have so many questions. One, first of all, what hack comedian, Jubilee, is writing your dialogue? Two, what is Wolverine like before his coffee? Because I've seen him after his coffee, and I don't want anything to do with that. Three, does Wolverine also hate Mondays? Does he love lasagna? Like, what are we? What a pigeonhole of a. We're one-dimensionalizing the character here.
Also, 4, does he have a World's Best Teacher mug that you have also given him?
Does Wolverine also have something on his wall that says "Live, laugh, snicked"? Like, is he
live,
just
laugh, murder.
Is he just a basic bitch?
There's one thing I know about him. He's absolutely basic bitch.
Does he take pictures of himself in the autumn where he has like a big hat and a big white scarf on? Just be like, I love
think about
autumn.
how good he would look with that. Of course he's got to post that shit.
Does Wolverine drink pumpkin spice lattes? When Jubilee is saying don't talk to Wolverine before his coffee, is that coffee pumpkin spice lattes?
In my
That-
head, yes.
Probably.
That's my
Probably.
90s moment, Cassie.
Nick, what do you got for Most 90s Thing?
Mine's got to be a Beast basically getting turned into Wolverine. Like, you know, I mean, it's like there's nothing more 90s than like just feral ass Wolverine, you know, like, and I mean, just like the fact that they were just like, well, Wolverine's not in this episode, so you know what, fuck it, Beast turns into Wolverine for a bit.
But
like, you know,
I feel
yeah,
like
that's-
we're like agents on the phone. Like, get Wolverine in this episode. He's not available. Turn Beast into Wolverine.
turn Beast
That'll
into
be fine.
Wolverine.
Fine, at the very least.
Yeah.
That is very good. For most 90s thing, maybe a bit of a stretch. I have the very faint X-Men theme that played as Beast picked up the photo of the X-Men. Because that's just...
Oh, yeah.
They always have to do it. They got to let you know that this is a touching moment. It is softer. It is more strings. And I love it every time they do it. But Nick, I am going to give that one to you because God bless these animators. I love them. Our next one is Best Gasp Line. What do you got, Nick?
Biggest gasp. I know it's kind of like I wasn't expecting it at the end, but I actually felt like kind of the threat, but just Apocalypse taking Cortez as his vessel, like right at the end. I was like, oh shit! I was like, I figured he'd just be floating, for a bit longer and being like, oh, we'll get him next time or whatever. But then it's like, oh no, he's Apocalypse. He's a huge dick. He just takes his body.
It did have the moment that they wanted. It was powerful enough where you're like, okay, bet we got this guy back now.
It actually got me. I was like, oh, cool. All right.
Fabian Cortez is the Tom Wamsgams of this episode, for sure.
Ryan, what do you got?
Cortez.
My gasp moment is wondering what Cass and Caitlin were saying comparing Ogre Wolverine to Hound Beast and why there would be any difference because they're both fucking brightly colored buff slugs.
God, you simple man. They are so different. In so many ways. They don't compare at all. For Best Gasp Line, I do have when Jubilee gave Beast that mug because it was just so perfect and so touching. The fact that they did it, I loved it. I am going to give that one to Nick, though, because I feel like they did pull it off. It was a big enough moment in this episode where Apocalypse is back.
Hey, that's cool, Cassie. Give it to Nick. Like, what a point. But like, if he wins the next one, then I cannot win. Just so you
Ryan,
know.
you told me Trollverine and fucking Beefy Beast
Hound
are the
Beast.
same thing.
Yes, they're the same thing.
That absolutely will never get a point. You're so fucking wrong on that shit. But best use of power, you get another shot. What do you got, Ryan?
Apocalypse entering into Cortez. It was sort of sly. It was sort of sexy. It was like, now we're each other. And also it got rid of Fabian Cortez. It wasn't like, we didn't hear Fabian Cortez in the background going like, Apocalypse, get me out of here. He's just gone now. And that's all I want. That's the best power you can have is just to fucking eliminate him.
You think he'll be in Apocalypse's like consciousness?
That would be
forward?
awesome. Just like, guys, I have a devil and a Fabian on my shoulder, and I don't know what to do.
Apocalypse is like, fucking someone kill me again so I can get into another body. Jesus Christ.
I fucked up so badly.
But Apocalypse, I love you.
Nick, what do you got for best use of power?
I had, there's a point where when Beast shows up to the ceremony and starts wrecking stuff, and Caliban starts wrecking stuff, but Caliban literally uses his strength to throw 3 different people at Fabian Cortez. I thought that was the best use of powers. just
when
throwing
you're
bodies
boy,
at him. Yeah.
Absolutely. Grab bodies and throw them. That's your number one move.
Yeah. That's his mutant power, throwing bodies, yes.
Throwing bodies. For best use of power, unfortunately, it is Cortez's power to make people both beefy and buff on beefy whenever he wants. Just
Caliban, we find out at the end, Caliban's like a skinny little Skeletor guy. And at any point, he doesn't make Caliban smarter or more powerful. He's just like, no, you fucking look like you're on the cover of a muscle magazine. You Caliban, sexy boy, you go.
I love how they just like straight up don't explain Cortez's power at all.
I just did it. I mean, he's got to muscle milk. I'm going to kill you with muscle milk, you fucking sexy Caliban. You go.
He expedites their gym membership.
And unfortunately, because we don't see, Beast just goes back to Beast. And I don't know, Caliban just has such sunken in cheeks. I don't know if this is what Cortez's power is to make you just absolute skeleton when you're not, or if that's just Caliban.
That's just how he looks. Yeah.
Okay.
That's it. Yeah.
Can you imagine though if he uses power on Hound Beast? Then he would have gotten even fucking bigger and sexier and bluer and probably would have grown a septum piercing.
It would have been an onslaught.
We could only hope. What a dream.
I'm not talking to the onslaughts tonight. That's for the Patreon.
Ryan, I hate how you proposed it at the beginning, but you are absolutely right. Best use of power goes to you. Our next award is LVP. Nick, what do you got?
I was going to go with Fabian. That's like such the obvious answer, because I hate him and everybody hates him. But like, I actually think it goes to Psychic Boomerang Girl because, like I said, she doesn't hit a single target. Like she don't do nothing. She just kind of sucks the whole time.
Like I could see like a VH1 special about where's Boomerang Girl now, and she's like trying to garden and still can't because she can't hit anything.
Yeah.
Zero. Not even the tree that Beast got stuck in. Couldn't even hit it.
I told you to weed my front yard. You put a boomerang right through my house, and you chopped off 2 of my children's heads. Yeah, $75.
Ryan, what do you got for LVP?
My LVP is, I'm sorry, I'm too much of a basic fucking pumpkin spice latte drinking bitch, but it's Fabian Cortez, who's
That's
just
fair.
awful. He's just awful.
He is absolutely terrible. It's the obvious one, but sometimes obvious can be right. Guys, LVP, I have just old school maps for always getting people lost. Without fail, if that's in a show, it's gonna get a person lost.
Well, no, Cassie, I have the Titans thing of, 3 letters here, 3 letters there. I've solved the map. So the maps are not hard for me.
So
the map cipher.
Yeah.
It's easy for some and the biggest challenge for others.
Yeah, if you just say 3 letters, the maps become clear.
Mm-hmm. Nick, I want to give this one to you because Boomerang Girl doesn't do anything, but it's just Fabian Cortez, and we have to deal with him, so I got to give this award. He's the worst. So Ryan, I am going to give that point to you. Our final award, MVP. Ryan, what do you got?
I don't know here, Cassie, what to say, how to get this award. Puberty, half shirts. I'll say half shirts. Jubilee's half shirts at the end. Mullets I'm into now. What an episode, right?
You threw this away right at the end. So proud of you. MVP. Nick, what do you got?
I think it's kind of a well-earned MVP in Jubilee because she's kind of low-key the MVP, but she everything she does correctly and succeeds in. I mean, like she does get captured and has to be saved essentially at the end. But like I said, I mean, if Beast would have let her in the fight, I don't even think they might have captured them.
Oh, I support women. I think they're unattractive, and I wish they would wear full shirts. Unbelievable. That half shirt got... Okay,
yeah,
whatever.
Is it devastating that was brought up right when you just said for the half shirt is my MVP?
Yeah, I didn't see it coming.
For MVP, I do have Grunty Beefy Beast because one, we didn't have to hear him talk the whole time, and he was beefy, so that's MVP. He also did cause the big distraction where Jubilee could be saved, so I think obviously the MVP.
Have you guys been to Taco Bell recently and ordered the Grunty Beefy Beast? Because it is it's better than the chalupa.
That's more of a descriptor of post Taco Bell feelings, but
the Grunty Beefy Beast is coming. I hope he doesn't have a septum piercing.
All right, Ryan, I think you know that one didn't go to you.
What
I am
the
going
fuck?
to give that point to Nick, though, which means, guys, you were tied. Nick took it away with 3 points at the end, Ryan, you with 2. You are the winner, Nick. Congratulations.
Woo!
That is sadly the end of our episode, though, which means it is time for us to wrap this up. Ryan, it's at the end, so can you please tell me about some websites?
Yeah, I will. First website is popfilter.co. By the way, Nick, because you won, you receive 50 pop filter bucks that you could spend on the pop filter website. You can buy whatever you want. We have so many things. Pop filter branded shirts, shoes, underwear, shower curtains, mouse pads. There's so many things. They're all at popfilter.co. And then, of course, popfilter.co/Amazon. That's your new Amazon bookmark. Patreon.com/popfilter, /your popfilter, excuse me. That's where you go to subscribe to various tiers and get a bunch of stuff from us.
Nailed it. Love all those websites. And of course, sluts!.com, I believe it was.
Oh, shit, yeah. And you want to spell out, it seems easier that you would just put an exclamation point after sluts, but no, you want to spell it out.
No.
Sluts! Not mark, point.com, where you can get anything that you want written on a t-shirt, also comma sluts! After it.
We also got some other shows you should be listening to. One, of course, movie of the year. Ryan, what year are you guys going through right now?
2002, motherfucker. And we are it's a shockingly good year. You would think that anything past 2000, bad. No, 2002, good.
And of course, if you want to listen to a great show, Nick, you're on another great show.
Oh, yeah, thanks. But yeah, I host a show called None of My Friends Like Comics. You can find us on all the usual podcasting platforms. I'm on Twitter at No Comic Friends, where I post updates and all that jazz. We do have Patreon as well. What I've been putting a lot more effort into. We started doing like movie commentaries and bonus episodes and stuff, so that's been a lot of fun. But yeah, find us anywhere. It's pretty easy because it's a long name and nobody else has it. So.
And was that the main part when you were coming up with names? You were like, Fall Out Boy rules, we make it so long.
No, I just thought it was, I don't know. I just kind of thought it was funny. and then, I don't know. It just kind of stuck, but it works. It works.
We probably talked about this last time, but Nick, you're running out of friends who don't read comics. Cassie doesn't know how to read. So
I've never learned.
I need to get both you guys on at some point. I think it'd be a lot of fun.
You know that G.I. Joe issue, the Silent Snake Eyes issue? That's Cassie's jam.
Yeah.
Because there's no words.
Perfect. Get me
there's
on
no
it.
English words.
There's a newer Star Wars one where it's just the droids and they just make beep boop noises, I'm pretty sure.
Can you read beep boops?
I understand beep boop. Surprisingly, That's as far as I got. First grade covered beep boop.
As far as you got. In 5th grade, you were like, I got the beep boops. I'm out.
I'm done. That's a wrap on me. That's all I'll ever need. We do have some social media. We are at Your Pop Filter on Instagram. Be sure to follow us there. We also have an email, contact@popfilter.co. Send us your email, send us your questions. We would love to get those. Next week, you guys, we got a big episode because we are going to be, again, we're coming back to Riverdale. It's time for us to focus on it. We're all going to be talking about it. We're going to have another guest. We're going to have Paul from the Waiting for Doom podcast with us. So sorry, Nick, but you're welcome whenever you want as well. That is it for this week, though. For Mike, I'm Ryan. For Ryan, I'm Mike. For me, I am me. And for Caitlin, I am me. Bye, everyone.